Hi, I'm Lana, and this is Sherry, and this is Real Estate Tips with SNL.
So today we're excited to bring to you something new. Instead of just doing our videos, we have decided to bring on some podcasts. An opportunity for us to talk a little bit more in depth about the subjects that, we feel should matter to everyone out there that's involved in real estate. We still want to be your resource for real estate related items. Mm-hmm. And we thought maybe today we could start with just kind of getting to know your realtor.
There you go. Love it.
All right.
So you start.
You want me to start? All right.
You start.
So we thought we came up with a few questions, and we thought it would be a little fun to start with, how long have we been in real estate? So I got my real estate license in 2010. So, I've been doing this now for about 14 years. Mm-hmm. And
how long have you been with Coldwell Banker?
Coldwell Banker, I think it's been 12 years. I didn't start with them, but it's been a good 12 years, and I can see myself continuing right up till the end.
So we've known each other 12 years.
We have, yeah. So how long have you been doing real estate?
Let's see. Way back in the day. No. Let's see. 2002. And Coldwell Banker, I think this is my 20th year. And when you came aboard, I remember when your office came aboard and I met you and I said, oh my God, does she have great energy? But she was so approachable. She was happy. She was talking with everybody. And I'm thinking, wow, she's going to be dynamo. Now, I never did any transactions or anything that I remember or doing with you. But what I remember is how approachable and just uplifting you were. It was a great feeling.
That's sweet. Thank you. And I do remember actually before we met in the office having a phone conversation with you. I think I was going to show one of your listings. And so you may not remember that.
I remember you.
But I was thinking, gosh, she's so, upbeat and energetic also, and then I met you in person and I'm like, oh my gosh, she is the Energizer Bunny. If there was a way to bottle up your energy, we would be very rich. You don't stop. Great. You don't stop. It's like, hey, let's go. You're just, you're very high energy. And I think that what drew me to you was because, we have like-minded business personalities.
Right. So one thing that we want to make sure we point across is we're competitors.
We are.
So we are top agents. We're in the same office. We compete. However, we love to collaborate, brainstorm, come up with some different ideas, some different ways to help our clients, new marketing ideas, just brainstorm pretty much any kind of level of real estate. Yes. So the interesting part, and I think what we have is we develop this collaboration where we have not only years of experience, but probably close to 2,000 transactions under our belts.
Oh,
together.
Yes.
Combination.
Yeah.
So I think that we could write a book that would be continuous. But we also have the experience, the knowledge, and I don't think anything would freak us out at this point.
No,
I don't think anything is going to be so challenging that we can't brainstorm or figure out.
It's funny you mentioned that because I can recall in the early years, when you're newer to real estate and you get your first challenging transaction. Right. We know every transaction is different. There are no two exactly the same transactions. So that first one that kind of breaks you down, burns you out thinking, how could I have better prepared for this? Mm-hmm. And what happens is every time we have one of those transactions, and they're pretty frequent, it's just because it's impossible to totally predict.
Right.
But the more of those that we have, the better prepared we are to help prevent them or to address any kind of issues that come up.
Yeah.
And I think it took going through those years of learning to reach this point today.
And don't you think this is all hands-on education?
Yes.
Like if we couldn't have had the energy and the drive and the passion for real estate in general, right? I mean, we both have the passion. There's ups and downs in real estate, but both of us have this drive. We just talked about the energy and how approachable and whatnot. I think that's what stands us out as well as individual agents, but yet we're trying to bring local information, local resource to the community, to our clients. With all this background knowledge, we have so much to offer people. So I feel like this is a great way, these podcasts will be a great way to answer questions, to bring up scenarios that people hadn't even thought of, right?
Right.
Or, those one in a kind type things that we can like dissect and just have a conversation, kind of figure that out for everyone.
Right. Yeah. Well, I feel like we just recently were talking about how there's a lot that we do behind the scenes that, we don't want our clients to be burdened with, to understand that there's, those obstacles. You say you were carrying a TV set.
I was carrying it down the attic stairs today. Yes, all 410 of me carrying this huge 60-inch TV. Right. But these are things, you're right.
Right. Yeah. And I think it's also great, too, that we have personal resources that can help us out, when we have needed work done, if we've needed the painter, the electrician, whatever it is.
I think like our inner circle, right? We've created an inner circle of lenders and attorneys and service providers and photographers and just things that can support the business. But also we can bring all of this. So think about those last minute things. We need a smoke certificate. We need a Title V done. We have that ability because of the year's experience and just the way we collaborate and be able to give all this information to the community, to our clients, friends and family, so and so. Tell me something more about you, Sherry, in the sense of like how you connect with the community, how you got involved in real estate. Like, give me a little bit of background about that, because I think this also connects with people where they know how they can communicate with us.
Right. I would say that I think most people have a natural curiosity about real estate,
Right.
And so, I hear people say oftentimes that, I've always loved houses, and I can remember staring at floor plans, and that sort of thing. So it was a natural curiosity that led me to real estate, but I initially got involved in a real estate office, not as a licensed realtor. Now, this would have been back in 2000, maybe. Okay. And I was doing some, office work, some marketing, that sort of thing, part-time, because I was, looking to leave my full-time job to do a little something, while I was earning money and staying home, taking care of my children. 4 kids. So, I went through, my kids are gapped, age gapped. I've got 5 to 7 years between each of them. So every time it got easy, I made it more difficult. Just we'd get rid of a crib and then need to buy a new one, yes. And then when my youngest turned 5, we got a dog, because you should have a puppy to now fill that void. But with that, I had all these connections in my life, and I was involved in, raising my kids in Leominster. I was involved with the Leominster Moms Club,
right.
The Leominster, the PTO of the schools, the Pop Warner and Cheer. I got involved in the Doyle Field Foundation. I did a lot of volunteering.
It seems that being a mom was very helpful, because you were in the school system quite a bit and constantly. But you have a connection with parents and, what's going on with them and how your situation was. So you were able to connect with that kind of, the community that way.
Right.
Right. And so I'm sure going forward, it's also a way you're probably seeing the kids of your clients now buying. And so now you're getting this repeat, but it's probably, a really great way that you could connect with the community because of the way you were involved with the kids.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you know, I mean, we talk a lot about having a sphere in
Right.
real estate, and I didn't realize I was creating one. It sort of happened naturally, and a lot of it happened because it was, you know, the parents of my children's friends,
Right,
and
right.
you know, and it was a different group of parents because they were, you know, so, you know, age gapped there. So yeah, it was interesting. And then, like everybody, I got into real estate, and I shouldn't say it like everybody, but for me, I got into real estate because I thought I could do it part-time,
Right.
you know, and bring a little bit of money, and I could have flexible hours. And, you know, I did put my youngest in the back seat while I went to listing appointments and showings, and he did all of that with me. It was you, and I always credit you with this, who told me, because I started gaining multiple part-time jobs, and you were the one who said to remove the safety net and just do this job full-time.
Cut the cord.
You cut the cord, yeah, and I took your advice, and your energy, you know,
Here we go.
not physically, mentally. I mean, my idea of a vacation is on a, you know, beach somewhere with a cocktail that has an umbrella.
Yeah.
Your idea is to climb Everest, you know, so we might be a little different that way. Yeah. Well, which also, that speaks to your personality too, Lana. You know, it just, you know, you are always looking for challenges.
I guess I can see that. Yeah, I don't like to look for the challenge. I like when the challenge comes to be able to brainstorm and work through it. So I feel that there is nothing so high that you cannot work it out or figure it out. There's always going to be a solution.
Right.
But I feel for me, recreation is a big part of even my business. Because when I'm showing property or going to a listing, I kind of want to dissect what's around it. So when I'm meeting people, I kind of use the recreation part of talking about the fun things the family could do, or if you have a dog, like where you can walk the dog, right? So I kind of bring that into my business, and I learn a lot about what is available for recreation in areas that you don't see, because we are so fortunate where we are. But it's true. There is no doubt in real estate, there's challenge after challenge for a word, but I think there's always a solution. So for me, it was sometimes going on those long hikes has helped me resolve these solutions.
So it's not that you seek out challenges, it's that you seek out solutions to problems.
Yeah, you know, we're the problem solvers.
Right. But all right. So going on this expedition that you did.
Oh,
you know,
right. Base camp.
Right. So, I mean, that's also about, you know, overcoming obstacles and sort of preventing that ceiling that says, you know, I can't go above that. You know.
Yeah, that's true. So I did hike Base Camp Everest. Thank you for reminding me.
So, well, I know I've told you this, and I want you to tell about your experience here, but I am not ever going to hike to the base camp of Everest, but I am going to brag that I know someone who did. You know, my friend Lana, you know, and as if I'm taking full credit for what you did. So you just keep up the good work.
No, it was a great, it never was something in my mind I got to go achieve, right? It was more about the whole process of walking through the Himalayas and seeing the Himalayas and whatnot.
We want to hear about Everest. Stop dancing around the subject. Tell us, because we are living vicariously through you. I am.
Everest, the tallest mountain in the world. Dun, 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 dun. All right. So I did hike to base camp, and I did not know it was on a glacier. Had no idea. So I hiked through the Himalayas. We did about 80 miles. It was a 13-day trek. Let's see, there's a real thing called altitude sickness, like a real thing. And it's really a sickness. It's really bad. So
How do you prepare for that?
yeah, well, okay. So that's a great question. So I YouTubed people that went, base camp. So this is 17,600 feet roughly.
Oh,
So you're like I've gone to 14,000 feet before skiing, and I've gone, I've never hiked to a certain point, but I've been up an elevation. So I thought, this is nothing, right? But there's really no way to like actually know if you're going to get sick or not. I know they have these gyms or these things that you can go in and you can get hooked up and they take away your oxygen and give you oxygen and stuff. But honestly, we had one of my friends that were in the group and he did have altitude sickness. So you do take your medication. You do hike extremely slow. And when I'm saying slow, we're talking like 1, 2, like really slow. And yes, we have the ups and yes, we have the downs. But
are you taking oxygen?
No.
Are you? I'm sure
wish.
hydration. Obviously, it's staying hydrated.
Yeah.
But so there's no oxygen tanks, nothing like that.
It's carried, of course. They carry it. But on my trek, even though I did have a huge depletion, they check your oxygen level. The cure, so that you don't have an emergency and have to be helicoptered out, is you got to get down. That's the only cure.
That would be an easy one for me.
Yeah.
I'll see you later. I'm going down.
So I didn't get really bad until I hit base camp, and it came on all of a sudden. And then when I was starting to trek down the next day, it took a long time, and then slowly. And I had stopped eating for a couple of days, by the way. So I wasn't eating. I was drinking my water, but I wasn't eating. And all of a sudden, I looked at my Sherpa and said, I need some toast now. Like, I need some food now. But the whole process, the Himalayas were amazing. Like, you could see Everest in the distance, but you're like looking at the tallest mountains in the world.
That is amazing.
There's snow capped and you're walking along the Himalayas, and then it's paths, right? You're walking along the paths. So the other thing that I did learn about going there is when you're done for the day, like, what do? Like, there's no internet, right? You don't get on and you scroll. You don't go huddle against a nice warm fire. You don't do anything, like anything.
So now you're just sort of stuck with your thoughts.
So remember you said earlier, you got so much energy, blah, blah, blah. Okay, what do you do with that? Yeah. Like, you're done for the day and you have more energy. What do I do? Oh, well, I'd love to call my clients and like keep business going, but there is nothing to do. So you kind of like, when they say like, just be present, like you are just present. So being away as long as I was, it did bring me back to realize that peace. So I just want to add that into real estate, just to tell you a little bit of what I learned about it. I know I'm always bringing it
That's
back.
okay. That's all right.
But what I'm going to tell you is that's the piece that really helps with the brainstorming is you're hustling, bustling, you're moving things, and everything is, everything's high speed, right? But when you're really listening and you pay attention, you just listen to the client or listen to what the issue is, and you sit back, this happens, right? You sit back and you go, I got it. Instead of going back and forth, 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 right? Yeah. So the same thing with the hike. It's like every day you got up. So all that soreness and all that stuff, when you climb the 4,000 footers, I just did a 4,000 footer the other day and I was like, oh, my body's so sore. But doing the Himalayas every day, just being consistent and a nice, easy pace and slowing down, there was no soreness.
So it's more of a gradual.
Oh no, there's up.
All right.
Hey, I had to get to 17,000 feet, right?
I told you, I on Sunday I did the hobo hike with my book club. I don't even know how many.
That's
feet
awesome.
That was. So I was at the back of the pack.
Doesn't matter.
We sang Christmas carols. Yeah. We had, I don't know, we just did our little thing. But while I was there, and everybody's out there just being athletic. And I said, hey, do you know my friend Lana? She went to Everest.
You did.
I sure did.
Oh my goodness. My goodness.
I told you, I am taking credit. Yeah. I am taking full credit and I am not going to do it.
Well, I can tell you that anyone can do it. Yes, there's a little training just for distance, but anyone can do it.
You did a lot of training. You were...
Wait, the worst part of the training was every day during the week you planned out when you're going to hike. And the days that was your day to hike, it didn't matter if it was pouring rain out, you were out there. And there was a lot of clips and stuff that I took because I was out there in the pouring rain because what, the Himalayas are not going to wait for me. Oh, it's raining, so now we have to take a break. Well, of course not. So it wasn't all pleasurable, but actually I miss it. Because it was like I put my boots on, I went right outside the door, and I just went from my house. So you just went till you did 6-8 miles,
right,
and come back home, right?
But I feel that that's your personality. The dopamine you're getting. You're out there and you're doing your daily exercise, whatever it is. You and I are both early morning people. Right. It's not uncommon for us to be on the phone at 6:45 a.m.
Are you up?
So yeah. Well, there is the text first, ready for a call, and it could be that brainstorming moment. But while we're on the phone and I'm sipping my coffee and just kind of getting, acclimated to my day, I can hear the heavy breath. And I can, or even in the wintertime, the crunch of your boots hitting the snow as you're hiking in the woods at 6:45 a.m. And I'm wondering, how much longer before my second cup of coffee. So we're a little different that way, but the mind is going. And but that's what I mean. You were doing this 7 days a week. And before you started prepping for Everest, you were doing this 6 days a week,
like 3 or 4. I know, I get it. I'm an outdoors girl, right? So I love being outside. Anything outside, get me outside. So some of my family members will say, "You take a phone call at 6 o'clock in the morning?" I'm like, well, yeah, that's when my brain is really wide awake. And so you can get me.
It's just Sherry.
It's just her calling. But yeah, I think everybody has their little outlets, whatever they like to do. Yeah, I mean, I know I'm but I'm a lot more relaxed about it than I was. I'm enjoying it much more than it was. It's not a job, right? It's enjoyable. So I like it.
Well, it does become a lifestyle.
Yes.
Our phones are an extension of our arms. They're always there. We're constantly thinking about business.
Always.
I can understand that must have been pretty difficult for you while you were, without cell service. Because I got, married a few years ago, and I was working on my honeymoon, but it didn't feel like work,
right?
And
it doesn't feel like work.
My husband might not have appreciated it. But I was like, I'll be right back. I'm going to go to the hotel room and I got to write up this offer. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And taking these calls. And our families definitely get used to the fact that we're, always on. And that might be at, 6 a.m. while you're out on a hike.
Yeah, and that's a good point you just brought up. The thing about, I know a lot of people say, well, you got to have balance in your life. Well, we do have balance, right? We can go on our honeymoon and still be enjoying our work, but still giving our time to our friends and our family and whatnot. And there's a lot of balance to that. So when I'm working out, it's not about, oh, this is my time. That's time for my juices flowing here,
Right,
and this is what's helping what I really enjoy doing, right? So I think that we both can balance things and, it's not a threat or takes away from the family and friends.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's definitely a 7 days a week job, but it's not 24 hours a day.
When we're having karaoke at your house?
Yes.
It's hard not to talk real estate in between.
So we're going to talk karaoke. That's it. All right. Now the bag has been opened. There goes the cat. Out. Yeah. I know. Well, and that I think I got my first transaction, or my first client was singing karaoke.
See?
So, and it's not because I'm that good, because I did not get signed to any kind of recording deal, but I sold a house. Okay.
There you go. See, people connect with you.
But yeah, I agree. It's whatever social thing we're doing. Everywhere you go, people are asking questions, and that's just part of real estate.
The statement that you said earlier, you were so right. Like, there's no real ceiling, right? So it's just how do you get from point A to point B? So think about all the transactions that we have going on. We've gone through ups and downs in real estate since, look at the span of 20 years being in real estate. That might not be super long as some of the agents we know that have been in 40 years, right?
Right.
But when you're seeing the ups and downs, going through a short sale period, a foreclosed period, a escalation period. We have had ups and downs, but we're constantly, because we're so vested in the industry, and we're so fortunate to have the collaboration, that we're almost just always ahead of the curve, right? So we know something else is changing. There's always going to be something coming at us, right. But we're always been able to continue to find a solution, or with our resources, find some answers or assistance for it. Right. So I think that's what makes this work so well. Mm-hmm. And because we compete. So, we compete. We have our own separate businesses.
We compete, but we collaborate. I think it's a very healthy competition.
Absolutely.
It is such a weird industry that we work in that respect, because, you do need to, we're in a relationship, type of business.
Extremely emotional.
It's definitely emotional.
Extremely emotional.
I mean, and that being said, sometimes people are selling because of hardships, mm-hmm. and you have to make sure that you're there as a sounding board as well, mm-hmm. And that's so important. I know you and I've talked about this too, that it's the opportunity to think outside the box. It's extremely helpful to have somebody within the office, which I'm grateful that I have you. And we've got some other people too. We have a really great office.
Yeah, it's amazing. Not just because we have top agents in there, but we have people that have experience,
right,
and knowledge and creativity, right? Because I was not given the creativity piece of, organizing a home or my office. It looks pretty plain Jane, where you could go out and
I love
right. You can
those
set that all up.
Juices flowing, right. Yes.
But we have the variety in our office that I think is very, very helpful, and it also keeps everybody's energy up, right? So everybody is just, what can we do if we get in a slump? We come up with an idea, and it keeps us moving and keeps us going. So I think, if anything, I'm hoping the message comes across that the community knows they can reach out to us. We'd love to be your local resource. We have so much information upstairs that we'd love to share, so that we hope that this podcast and these series that we're going to offer, because we are going to be bringing some information. We just wanted everyone to get to know us.
Yes.
To feel like we're just normal people. We're here with a lot of information. No question is a dumb question, right? Because everyone has gone through it once or twice. And so we wanted people to be able to feel like, hey, I just have a question. I don't want people to call me and say, let's sell or let's buy. I just got questions. This is what we're here for. Yeah.
Oh, I want this to be interactive.
Absolutely.
I definitely want to hear from people.
Yeah.
I know that on social media, you put out that you got some great questions, and I'm looking forward to addressing that. And, especially from those that are thinking of buying or selling, or maybe it's just even, general questions, we're not for a lack of chatting, so we can.
We could go on.
We could go on. We could absolutely, but to be able to, I want to help people. I love helping people, and I think there's no better feeling,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, when you know that somebody is happier because of what you've done.
So bottom line is we want to hear from you.
Mm-hmm.
We want to answer what we can. We want to give our resource information to you. So we would love it. And we hope that you'll find the next series of podcasts that we're going to set up is interesting and helpful.
Yes.
So you know where to find us.
Yep. We're at Caldwell Banker in Leominster, and we would like to be your resource locally for anything real estate related.
Thank you.
Thanks.